Wow, how are you fellas doing? Been about a month since I last posted, and I know that's insane. That's the longest I've ever went without posting. In that time, you guys showed a bunch of support, which I really appreciate. And we also passed a year on this channel, and it's crazy to see what we did in a year. And I'm not gonna make any excuse. I just didn't really have the motivation to post. A lot of stuff has happened since my last upload. I went to the wedding, went to California, came back, had some other life stuff happen, but I wanted to tell you guys about the California trip before I make any other videos, because that was the one that I was really hyped about telling you guys about. And let's just say I had a great time at the wedding. It was fun being a groomsman, but I've never been mogged harder in my life. And I know that's cringy to say, but I'm 28, about to be 29, and a lot of the people in there were in their mid to like late 30s. I mean, my cousin getting married was 36, but there was also a lot of people in my age range, and I've never noticed how lost in life I was until I was in the room filled with them. I mean, if you asked me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I felt like I would have a general sense of where I wanted my life to be at and the things I had to do to get there. But being in that room with that many people that had their stuff somewhat in order made me realize how much time I've really wasted. And this isn't to be like a super down video. I mean, I had a great time. The entire trip was fun. It was nice seeing all my cousins, family members, and extended family. But when I got back, I just couldn't stop thinking about how just lost I actually am. Before I get into what made me realize that so much, I'll just tell you about the trip in general. It was about a 4-day trip. It was supposed to be longer, but there was some headbutting between the families and on how long they should get the flights. So it was about 4 days, and the wedding festivities were about 2 of those 4 days. They were that Saturday and Sunday, but it's LA. It's always a good time. I've told you guys I've been there several times. This one was a little bit better because we had a nice Airbnb, we had a nice car, we were able to commute and go wherever we wanted. The wedding itself was at this really nice hotel, so I kind of felt fancy in my suit, looking nice. And that's kind of one of the parts that made me realize that I was getting mogged by everybody there. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a fresh cut, I looked good in my suit, and women were actually coming up to me and talking to me, and I was also starting conversations. It was open bar, so I had a little bit more confidence than usual, but talking to women is not really the hard part for me. The thing that I realized at this wedding is that I have a very big inferiority complex. I think that's how you say it. There was about 2 or 3 women that I was talking to after the reception was done, and my groomsmen duties were kind of calmed down for the moment. And I kid you not, I felt like the biggest loser every time I talked to them. I mean, the conversation was good. It seemed like they were into me, and we were having pretty decent chemistry as we were talking. And it's a wedding, you know, everyone's kind of has that wedding fever, kind of has that like feeling in the air. But every time they would tell me the career that they did, I felt like the biggest loser I possibly could have. I know everything happens on its own pace, and I shouldn't feel behind because other people are doing better in life at the moment. But when you're trying to flirt with a girl and she tells you that she's an engineer and your response is, yeah, I'm kind of looking for the next step in my career, it's kind of hard not to feel like a loser. And with the job market being the way it is, a lot of them didn't even hold it against me. Like they would just kind of breeze over and act like it wasn't a big deal. But I think personally, I knew that they had a lot going on and I was just kind of sitting here unemployed in the void. And I felt a lot worse than I should have. I mean, I wasn't down at the wedding. I wasn't sad about it, but on the flight home, I just couldn't stop thinking that all these people have their life in somewhat stable directions, and I'm sitting here doing nothing really. I mean, my biggest accomplishment of the year so far is this YouTube channel, and I didn't even post on it for a month. It was kind of a bitter pill to swallow at those moments, like when I would realize, oh shit, I'm behind. And as far as like with the other groomsmen and like the guys at the wedding, I didn't really feel too behind until it came to finances or career. Being East African, you know, Ethiopian, I'm one of the tallest people in the room anywhere I go. So I'm height mogging everywhere I go. And I know I'm saying mogging, but it's literally just for the sake of the video. I do not talk like this in my personal life, but I was height mogging. I got into better shape for the wedding, so I was decently fit. Haircut was looking good. Had a nice cologne on. I mean, I tell you guys the importance of cologne. I mentioned it in a video before and someone said cologne is gay. Cologne is not gay. You should want to smell good, and smelling good is not Axe body spray. So get you a good cologne. But in terms of appearance and physical stature, like I was pretty presentable. I didn't feel like I was lacking in those spots. And a lot of the people were in their mid 30s, so they were bald. So like I was hair mogging too. But when it came to career and finances, oh man, it was a bad comparison. It was not a good comparison at all. And it was the literal nightmare of everything that you see. It was like social media being brought into real life. You know, we're in LA, so we all kind of rented cars for the wedding, but a lot of the people that went to the wedding live in LA. And this one kid pulls up, 26 years old, Rolex on the wrist, Tesla Cybertruck. But when someone pulls up flexing on you that hard, it's hard to ignore. And I wasn't jealous. I'm not like preying on this guy to have a bad time or lose it all. I'm sitting there wondering, what am I doing wrong that I'm not in this position yet? And I'm not going to sit here and act oblivious to the things that I've done wrong in my life to end up here. I just am not that focused. And I've realized that, and this is something that I guess I've tried to not admit to myself, but like ever since I was a kid, bro, I did not care about the things that will kind of push me further in life. And that's hard to admit, but seeing everybody do well in the room around me while I've been unemployed for a year plus is kind of insane. I make videos talking about the system and how messed up it is, and that's true. That's never gonna change. I mean, maybe one day it'll change. I'm not waiting for it though. But at the end of the day, it really does come back to like, what am I doing with myself? And that's not to say that like, damn, I wish I would have got a job sooner in this year of unemployment. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think what I'm saying is I wish I would have took this year or, year plus a lot more seriously and maybe got certified in something, picked up a new skill, use my free time more than just waking up when I wanted, going hiking whenever I wanted, and kind of feeling free. Because now that I've been around people who are doing well and kind of have like a very positive mindset in life and got away from the people that I was surrounding myself, in my actual home state, I feel like I messed up big time. And I guess on the good side, it's lit a fire under me to do better going into the rest of my life. But I don't know. There's days that I wake up and I'm just like, man, I've wasted so much time. And the only thing that's really kept my mood positive, and I know this is kind of bad to say, I guess, but it's looking at other people in my same kind of situation and seeing what they're doing about it or how they're dealing with it. Because my situation really isn't that bad, or that's what a lot of people tell me. Like, I don't have any permanent mistakes. I don't have any kids. Not saying that kids are a permanent mistake, but my life is very malleable at the moment. Even though it's at a low point right now, if I really do focus, I can change it around, and I'm not dooming about it. Like, that's the last thing that I want to do, but I am starting to examine my habits and the things that I do and why I do them. Because when I look back in my life, like, this realization isn't just a right now thing. I've noticed this going through school. I've noticed this as an early adult when I get my jobs. I don't go towards things that fulfill me. I just go towards things that will check off the boxes and kind of be easy enough to do. Like, I tell you guys about my last broadcasting job. I hated that job. I hated that job from the moment that I started it. But as someone who didn't really value education and really thinks that a lot of the things that we do are stupid, having a job that pays you to basically watch TV sounded like a dream come true. Until you realize that you're a literal cog in the machine, and the second that you get burnt out, they'll just replace you with somebody else who's eager to have a easy job. And even though it was a corporate job, I guess, it was still dead end. And I've never realized the meaning of dead end work until I kind of looked back at my past, bro. Like, there's a reason they tell you to get a degree or a skill or a trade, something that can be built upon and push you a little bit further. And I think I have this problem with not really seeing myself in other people's shoes. Like, if someone tells me their situation, I can give them advice on how to get it better. But then when I look back at my situation, there's really no plan to make it better. I just kind of just see a bunch of nothing. And I thought that's maybe because I'm anxious and I can't plan for the future. But now I'm realizing it's because if I continue down this road, there is literally nothing for me to get. I have skills. I just don't have the skills that are in demand. People tell me I'm smart. I just hate to learn. And outside of education and work, I'm really focused. I've taught myself how to build PCs. I've taught myself how to produce music. I've taught myself on how to work on cars for multiple generations. But if it's something that I'm not engaged in, then I feel no reason to focus or put any effort into it. And while many people think that that's normal, it has been one of the biggest detriments in my life. I know I'm just blabbering at this point, but that trip made me realize that I have like these terrible habits that I've been trying to, I guess, like improve on and self-help on. And the positive route didn't really work out too well. Like, just being overly positive, telling myself, oh, it'll get better, didn't really help because it really blinded me to the mistakes that I was making every day. And this wedding, while it wasn't a black pill, like, it didn't make me just, oh my God, it's all over. It was definitely a wake-up call. My cousin chose me to be a groomsman, and every other groomsman in the lineup was successful to a certain degree. Like, it was two of my other cousins and a family friend. One of them works with quantum computing. The other has a good position in Amazon. And the family friend just came to the States not long ago, and he's starting his life in LA. And I'm sitting there super honored to be a groomsman, but realizing that like, damn, I have nothing going on for myself. I didn't even tell you guys about the wedding. I just literally went into how less than that I feel, but that's really all I took away from the wedding, man. I thought that I would be sitting there wanting to get married and, you know, just like kind of following the footsteps of my cousin. But I remember saying this in the last video, I was like, I'm not ready for a woman, especially in the position that I'm in now. There's being called a bum by like a mad ex, and then there's feeling like a bum. And after this wedding, I feel like a bum. Like I feel like I need to lock in. And I hate that word so much. It's literally toxic, but I need to lock in. I don't need to have it all figured out by the end of the year. I don't need to be in like my dream situation by the end of next year, but I need to be doing something. And I think that's really the most important thing that I've taken away. It's not that you'll be put in bad situations in life or you'll go through rough patches. It's the fact that you need to keep pushing even when you enter those rough patches. Because when you look back at that time that you took a break, it might have felt good in the moment, but the entire time you're taking a break, the world is moving forward. And I've realized this through people passing away, but it's a little bit weird when it's like you're still here, but the world does not register that because you're not making yourself present. And all these habits were like present during school. I just thought that I just hated school, but I would always do well. I just hated being there. And I also hate trade work. So it put me in a weird position. And I think I'd rather pursue education than trade work. I might have soft hands. I might be a sissy boy. I don't want to work on an oil rig. I don't want to do hard labor for the rest of my life. That's just me personally. So because of that, I'm going to have to pursue education and actually take chances on the things that I've wanted to do for a while now, but have never invested enough time or focus on to achieve. I've talked about certifications in the past. While I have some, I could have way more. And I know I'm smart enough to achieve those things. I just need to put myself to the test to actually do it. And, you know, I think I'm going to make that journey public to you guys. It's easy to say one thing and then let time pass and then not do anything about it. But I'll have more information on this hurdle in my life coming up soon. There's kind of a lot of things that happened in this month. Some that I'm happy that I realized, like, you know, this realization from the wedding, and others that I'm a little bit ashamed of to like put myself in the position of. I'll touch on that next video, but I think I should end this video off with a positive note about the wedding that wasn't just all me and my internal thought process and how I'm behind. As some of you may know, I'm from Chicago and I grew up there for a lot of my life, but I've been down in Georgia for a while now, like 10 plus years, and I haven't really visited Chicago too much or seen my cousins. We stay in contact via phone calls and we'll have these odd trips. Like I've seen them come down for my high school graduation, which was again 10 years ago. But this wedding put us all back in the same room for 4 days at least. And man, it felt like we never grew up from those kids that grew up in Chicago. We would reminisce over stories. We would walk the beach and be teleported back in time to our childhood. And it was good to see that everybody that I knew growing up was doing well now. As much as I felt behind, I was just happy to know that the people that I grew up with and that helped mold me as a person, you know, even though I didn't really take the advice as I should have, grew up to be happy, healthy people. And through that, were able to expose me to how I could be better myself. And even though I didn't feel like I was as good as them, I mean, for lack of better words, they never made me feel out of place. And since the trip, they've done nothing but help me get back on track to things that I should do. If you feel behind in life, it's a bitter pill to swallow. Trust me, I understand. I understand it a lot. But it doesn't have to be a position that you're stuck in forever. Even if the world is going to end tomorrow, you might as well be on track to do something than just sitting there throwing your hands up. The sense of freedom that I've been chasing through unemployment was never really free. It created a prison for myself that I just couldn't see at the time. And now that I'm seeing it, I'm glad that I've noticed it before I was 5 years in, 10 years in into doing nothing. And you know, they kind of say that you're going to waste your 20s and then you're going to pick it up at 30 and you're going to be good. I used to think that that was a load of shit, but here I am at 28 with not as many accomplishments as I want and no steady career and nothing but chances and mistakes to be made. And I know I have 1 year left in my 20s. I could change it all around. I might be fast forwarding into my 30s. Just don't take it too seriously. I know that's crazy coming from me. I just literally spent this entire video telling you about how much I messed up, but I don't know. I'm glad I could realize it when I did. I'm just yapping at this point. So if you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video, let me know down below in the comments. I do read the comments and I've been reading the comments since I've been gone. You guys are showing an insane amount of love. I really appreciate it. I apologize for this hiatus and I'll try not to make it a common thing. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to join the channel. Every subscription feeds my dog an extra dog treat and he's getting fat. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Until next time.
I don't wanna ever lose. got so